wanted to show you about wing needles. Do you see the wings on this sewing machine needle here? This is used for decorative heirloom stitching if you want to spread the fabric. And when you do this, you need a natural fabric. That's extremely important, because any polyester will not allow the threads to spread apart. They'll just come right back together. And the other thing you need is a thin fabric, a batiste, and also a very lightweight thread. And this is a 60 weight thread. I like Metler, but there's several different kinds out there. This is also cotton. If you use a cotton versus a polyester, you're going to have a natural, it works good because they're both natural. And so the other thing that you want to do is set your machine up. You want to make sure that you're on grain. That's important. So rip the fabric and then trim it off or make it nice and clean after you know that it's straight. So it needs to be on grain. The other thing you need is to stabilize it. Now I've got a couple of different stabilizers. This is a wash away stabilizer that I've doubled. So there's actually 2 layers in here. And I'm gonna just try this, because I think anytime that you do something like this, you want to test. You want to not only test the stitches, but you also want to test what the fabric does and if it's going to do what it's supposed to. You always want to use a stitch that is going to go in the same holes back and forth several times. This is one of my stitches that I like, but I also like some of these feather stitches, but sometimes I want to take the width down. So I might go down to 3.5 on the width on any of these. And it's a little more delicate, but do you see how the threads are kind of going in and making, the needle's making a hole, and the thread is actually holding it apart. So now the other thing that's really important is a foot that's either open or it has kind of a cutout underneath. And so any of the feet that go for decorative stitches would do that. Now I've rethreaded and I've come around this curve, and you can see my stitching here, and I wanted to show you how you need to work through a circle or a little loop here. And as I stitch, I'm going to keep lifting my presser foot. If you have that feature on your machine where it lifts itself, it's a wonderful thing to have. So every time I get ready to move into a sharper part of the curve, I'm going to stop and slightly move the material without dragging it under the foot. So even if you don't have that feature, you need to go ahead and stop and manually lift your presser foot, because it will distort the stitches if you just start yanking the fabric as it's stitching. And each one of these little stitches goes in the same hole several times. So you want to be sure that the more you stop, the better the stitches will be. And so I'm going to make sure that I stop again. I'm trying to stop in the center of the hole also, if you can see what I'm doing. And that way I'm getting a smooth curve, but I'm also getting a nice stitch also with it still going around the curve. Some of the stitches also that you use for heirloom are a little bit more easier to go around loops. Some of them that go in the center of a little hole several times. Those are probably the easiest ones. This one's almost like it's doing a little diamond shape. But basically all I'm having to do is follow that line that I marked. And of course, all of my lines are going to come out after I get finished and wash this. And I have to wash it anyway because I have to wash the stabilizer out. So I just want to be sure that I come around the line. And here we go again. I'm turning again. Make sure you have things clear also on your machine so that you can turn without a problem. Did you see how many times I have stopped and pivoted this foot? And then I never start at a point. I always start on a smoother end so that my point, and it's not really a point, but so that I can also again control what I'm doing when I come in and go out. And here I am to the end, and I'm just going to come back, cut my thread, and I'm going to show you that